Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein.
23 years in prison. That is the sentence that has been handed down for Harvey Weinstein.
Hi there, and welcome to Crime Cover-Up. My name is Ben Blanton, and today we'll be breaking down the infamous Harvey Weinstein sexual assault scandal. As we can all agree, his history of abuse is unforgivable, and justice came due. But the real question remains, why was it so late? What prevented a monster like this to so openly hide his abuse for decades? Through many tactics of legal abuse, abuse of power, and psychological manipulation, Harvey Weinstein normalized his abuse openly within the Hollywood film industry. To discuss this topic, we have brought in investigative reporter Alexia Walker, who will give us more insight into the Harvey Weinstein case. Thank you all for coming today. Today I have lead investigative reporter Alexia Walker to discuss the Harvey Weinstein case. And would you like to say anything else about yourself?
Yes, I would like to. Hi, I'm Alexia Walker. I'm the lead investigator for the Harvey Weinstein case and scandals. I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Ready for any questions you have.
We're happy to have you. I guess let's just get right into it. Do you believe that Harvey Weinstein was given a just sentence?
I do not. I think he very well deserved more time, considering that he assaulted and harassed 106 women on top of the 23 actual rape cases that he has against him. Mm-hmm. Considering that he only has 23 years, doesn't sound too just. I believe that for how many lives he's affected, he deserves a lifetime in prison.
Oh yeah, I believe for the two charges that he got, not including the acquitted ones, it was a felony rape charge and then a felony sex act.
Yes.
And for the felony rape charge alone, the maximum sentence is about 23 years, just for the singular felony rape case. And considering the amount of allegations against him, it wouldn't surprise me that it would hit that maximum year sentence.
All right, the draft. All right, hello, Melissa Thompson.
Hello, Harvey.
How are you?
Happy New Year.
That's nice. Thanks for that.
How's your day?
He got 23 for two felony rape charges or felony sex act charges. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't seem just.
Not.
And what was the lead factor for him getting away with these crimes for so long?
You see, I believe the lead factor of him getting away with all these crimes for so long, for these decades, was because I think he was a very powerful white man in Hollywood, and he could get anything he wanted with the drop of a hat. Mm-hmm. Multiple people have said that they have been intimidated by him or even feared him. So I believe that he used that to his advantage.
Oh yeah, multiple actors have come out about not choosing to speak about his actions due to losing career-building roles. Like, for example, Gwyneth Paltrow. She didn't want to speak about it in the 1990s because she didn't want to lose her role in Emma, which was a breaking point for her. And to blackmail like that is horrible. But as well as the legal aspect of it was since he was a rich white man in power, he had an insane legal team. Yes. Any coworkers would be forced to sign NDAs. Anybody that he got into the slightest altercation with signed an NDA and paid off. It was horrible. And it was just unjust, really.
Exactly.
I mean, it's horrible.
He controlled the people around him with money.
Exactly. It's just, I don't know. The fact that this keeps happening, it's horrible. And do you believe that the Hollywood film industry allowed this to go on to bring in more income through his company?
Oh, for sure. Just take, for example, the fact that Disney bought him and his brother's company for over $80 million. Do you really think that someone like Disney would want to lose this money?
Oh, no, definitely. I mean, although he is a horrible person, people saw that money that he held.
Exactly.
I mean, so many male producers, people that weren't even directly affected by his actions, like Quentin Tarantino, knew about what was happening, but they didn't want to talk about it because there's money involved. They didn't want to lose the money that they were getting.
Job, money, everything. And I believe that was just, he knew what he was doing. People around him knew what he was doing, but the greed of that money just...
Oh, yeah. And I guess that leads into my next question is, do you believe that these people within the Hollywood industry that milked him for his money are just as to blame as Harvey Weinstein himself?
Oh, I don't blame them completely because you can see both sides.
Yeah.
It's definitely a terrible thing that they didn't speak up before, but with what they believe to have on the line, it's mostly just selfishness. and letting people constantly get hurt is also kind of sad that they just, let that slide by.
Oh, totally. I mean, they're definitely to blame to some aspect.
Yes.
But considering just the tactics that he took and the insane lengths that he went to keep everybody silent and build this culture of silence, it still kind of falls onto his shoulders.
Yeah.
Oof. And do you believe that the Me Too movement caused a bandwagon effect for future similar cases such as the Bill Cosby case?
I feel less it caused a bandwagon effect, and more of just bringing light to the topic and helping and making women feel more comfortable to come out with what happened to them and what may be continuing to happen to them in the film industry.
Oh, totally. I think there's a big distinction between similarity cases and a bandwagon effect.
Exactly.
Because they were both big people in power, and they were rich, and they had companies behind them. They had years and years within, the industry. So people trusted them and believed them. So that's kind of why I think people come up with these excuses of like a bandwagon effect for stuff like the Bill Cosby, where it's not as extreme as like the Harvey Weinstein case, because they want to try to justify a reason for somebody as amazing as Bill Cosby to be a good person. They want to make those excuses, even though at the end of the day, these are bad people. You know what I'm saying? They're just bad people.
And in that way, also, it kind of dumbs down what these women have went through. Oh, it's just a bandwagon, and it doesn't really show the seriousness.
Oh yeah, I mean, people are so quick to jump to not believe the abused. I mean, even the jury within the actual trial stated that they just didn't believe Annabella Sciorra's testimony. They thought that she was lying about the entire thing, even though she was up there literally shaking and crying, recalling this horrible thing that happened to her. I mean, it gives me chills, personally. I don't know, it's gross. And lastly, what do you believe this means for the future of the Me Too movement and for future cases like this?
You see, I feel like stuff like this is going to keep happening. As sad as it is, it's going to keep happening. But luckily, I really think that the Me Too movement will help it come to light a little bit faster than maybe what happened with Weinstein.
If just one more person says Me Too, now there's another space for hope and healing. What I think has changed is how more people talk about this. More people around dinner tables, more people around groups of friends are able to talk about the Me Too movement, to understand what sexual violence is, and to understand how to help somebody who might have experienced sexual assault.
100%. And I think jumping back to that bandwagon thing is having these things happen faster, I think is another reason why people want to call it like a bandwagon effect. Even though it's just holding these people accountable at the times that these things are happening. Not years in advance like with the Harvey Weinstein case where, these things happened in the 90s and now it's 2020 when he finally gets convicted. I mean, we shouldn't continue to let these things happen. Yes, it's a step in the right direction to have these people convicted, but the point of the Me Too movement is to prevent these things from happening as they happen and before they happen, not just years in advance, and help these people after the fact. We want to prevent it from happening. Exactly. Well, that's all the questions that I have. Thank you so much for attending this interview today.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you so much for watching our interview.
Saving Private Ryan, Steven Spielberg, Ian Bryce, Mark Gordon, and Gary Levinson, producers. Shakespeare in Love, David Parfit, Donna Gelati, Harvey Weinstein, Edward Zwick, and Mark Norman, producers. The Thin Red Line, Robert Michael Geisler, John Robideau, and Grant Hill, producers. And the Oscar goes to Shakespeare in Love. David Parfit, Donna Gelati, Harvey Weinstein, Edward and Mark Norman, producers.
This is the first Oscar for David Parfit, Donna Gelati, Harvey Weinstein, and Edward Zwick. and the second for Mark Norman, who also won tonight for original screenplay.
Discussed with reporter Alexia Walker, it is quite apparent that Harvey Weinstein was a horrible person from many angles, but it is painfully clear that the main reason he got away with his actions for so long was his place of power and his money-funded legal team. He would threaten people's careers and pay them off or force them into NDAs, preventing those surrounding him from discussing his misconduct. We hope that now that Harvey Weinstein's actions are public, that things like this will not be repeated in the future. Lastly, I am Ben Blanton, and thank you all for attending this episode of Crime Coverup.
The downward fall of movie mogul Harvey Weinstein has been a very long and very public saga for both him and the more than 80 women who have accused him of sexual misconduct.
I thought no meant no.
Literally a nightmare, and he will never be the same.
But today is the day that both Weinstein and his alleged victims have been anticipating, opening arguments in his criminal trial. Weinstein is facing 5 felony charges, which include rape and sexual assault.
There are 2 counts which accuse him of being a sexual predator. Those are the counts that could put him behind bars for life.
Weinstein has denied all the allegations, saying any sexual relations were consensual.